Yesterday we had seen enterprise data warehouse and data marts. So, slideshow. Okay. So almost somewhere here we were there actually. Data marts. It's a subset of data warehouse. And then what are the advantages of data marts? Being a small, single limited data, will be having some advantages that we have been discussed. And advantages of data marts over data warehouse have been discussed. And then we had seen finally, enterprise data warehouse, how we pick up the sources and create the data warehouse, and the ODS. So which is temporary data warehouse. It's a hybrid. OLTP and VOLAP, both the features will be combined here. That's what we discussed here. It will take only very less historical data, not like years, probably some 3 months. This is like an intermediate layer before we create the data warehouse in real time. But what I have seen is people will not use ODS so frequently, very rarely, very very rarely. And we had seen VOLAP. What are the features of VOLAP? And this is the data warehousing architecture, how sources, and we put all the source data into staging and create the data warehouse, first data marts and data warehouse, and that will be used for reporting purpose. And we also discussed thoroughly about metadata. You can have a look on it. And then yesterday's video, I mean to say, you can refer that. And
Venkat, one doubt. In the project level, who is creating the data warehouse and data marts? Is the developers who is there or the platform?
Actually speaking, developers only have to create data warehouse in the sense it is like a group of tables, views, and the structure, how the
Hmm.
column should look like inside the table, so that the dimension table should be able to associate it to fact tables. This and all, as an architect, you should be able to decide. So when I say architect, you are not the architect. There will be a designated person who takes care of architecting all these things, but depends on
The
the project.
solution architect, right?
Correct. Not exactly data architect.
Okay.
Solution architect is his role is very different. Solution architect, like suppose a new project has come. SBI is a new company altogether. They don't know anything. They wanted to build their brand new data warehouse, assessing their data and existing operations what they are performing. Based on that, what are all the tools they have to use, and how the data is. That is a broad chapter compared to data architect. Data architect is somewhat limited to modeling of data, building the data warehouse, keeping the things in a proper manner. When I say how the files, it has to come from the source, and where we are going to store, how we are going to process to build the data warehouse, all these things will come in picture. So solution architect is different, data architect is different. Compared to solution architect, data architect is more about modeling and design of your data warehouse. Clear, right?
Yeah, got it. When I connect with the developers in our project, like yesterday,
Okay.
she said like, I don't know who creates the data warehouse and data marts in our project. Like that, they said. So
Actually
that's
speaking,
why. I
what data warehouse they are using? SQL server or Oracle or something? It's like a storage account.
Storage account, Cosmos DB. In
Okay,
Azure,
actually,
we use Cosmos DB.
see, as a data engineer, you will be building the tables by your own, because requirement is there. You have to build your tables, views, and all. But frankly speaking, if that developer whom you talk to, right, they are not
Hmm.
aware of Cosmos DB, the infrastructure, how it has been set up, they are not sure actually. They won't be creating it. As I told here also, this will be set up by platform team who takes care of storage account setup or any SQL server data warehouse setup. They install, they get it from the Azure portal, they make it ready. So infrastructure complete will be done from their side, and security will be done from platform side. Security, who should access the tables, views what we are creating right in
Hmm.
production. So that and all will be decided by platform team. Our job is to design the table and sometimes we give the access. There will be some groups and roles will be created. We assign the table to the person whom supposed to it access. So that level of thing. But as a data engineer, you are going to create the actual table. You are going to store the data. You are going to make the schedule, frequency of data, how it has to load will be decided by as a data engineer only. You will be the person.
Okay. Who maintains the infrastructure?
Platform team. Let's say
Okay.
it is
Uh,
Azure data, say Databricks. Okay, Databricks is a tool that will be maintained by Azure Databricks admin or some
okay.
DevOps team or platform team. See, there is something called Azure platform architect. Platform architect. So those people will take care of it, or any specific admin like Databricks admin, Data Factory admin, they takes care of it actually.
Okay. Go. Got it.
Even I never created a data warehouse, like a platform infrastructure. I never created. So once it has been set up by someone, right? I'm going to decide how modeling should look like. Modeling in the sense, modeling also will not be doing it. Some of the projects, I in our project we are team of 8 people. Uh, Architect is there actually, and I also be part of sometimes because I'm the senior most person. Modeling is something how the table should look. Yesterday we discussed right, dimension tables and fact tables. In a table, how many columns should be there? How much data it is going to sit on there, right? And for processing that data, what level of infrastructure is required? You will be communicating to platform team, or you yourself. If you are a provision to do take the decisions. How much infrastructure to be there to load the data for the tables on regular basis, so that case you'll be able to do. But in ideal case, modeling will be decided by architect. As a data engineer, we will be following the modeling what has been proposed by architect, and the solution architect will give all the solutions of implementing the project starting from scratch to ending till the delivery. High level will be working on. So your job is to create the tables or pick up the files, load into data warehouse as a data engineer. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And enterprise data warehouse, what we have seen yesterday, top down and bottom up, it's very clear. Just go through the diagram. And we had discussed attributes, identifiers, and entities, measures are facts. So these are the terminologies. When a number is see, when a column has data, any file, even parquet file also, when the data format is decimals or some currency or kind of data, we call it as factor measure. So attribute is nothing but the text columns, employee name, location name, something like this. We call it attribute. Any columns which are used for joining purpose from one table to another, other table, we call it identifier. So these are the slides. It describes what is attribute, what is fact, what is identifier, and we build the relationship based on identifiers only. And we had seen dimensions, different dimensions. What we discussed, product dimension. In a product table, you'll be having product ID. One ID column will be there.
Venkat, sorry to interrupt. Actually, is it
No
the
problem.
session is recording?
Yes, it is being recorded.
Oh, okay, okay, thanks.
So, different types of dimensions will be there. I told you in our project we are like multiple towers. We are almost 90 data engineers, Azure data engineers, and almost 10 to 15 data architects are there. From my team, we are 8 to 9 people actually, including my Scrum Master. So one architect is there, and BDAs for validation. So in that case, it's like a across my client. If you see right, almost 100 plus dimension tables are there. It is not just like how we do, and that's the reason we are following snowflake schema. Mostly people will follow star schema for doing their this data warehouse building. So how they build is they keep a fact table, and associated to this fact table, all the dimension tables will be built on. So dimension tables will be holding primary keys, and fact table will hold foreign keys. That's how it is built. Star schema. Mostly 90% of the projects are running based on star schema. Few projects are building on top of Snowflake schema. That's how it is. So star schema, Snowflake schema, the only one difference. Here all the tables, dimension tables are pointed to fact table, whereas Snowflake schema, all the dimension tables are pointed to fact table, but some of the child dimension tables again will be pointed to other dimension table. So at end of the day, in turn, the dimension table will be pointed to fact only. So that's how this diagram it's clearly describes. Okay. So and slowly changing dimension. This is where we got stopped yesterday. What is slowly changing dimension? So I will take a small example to describe this. I'll take we are all working professionals. I will take our example itself. Okay, so I'm gonna take Ashok. Okay, so Ashok is one employee, right? So he has employee ID and he has name like this. And let's take employee ID as 101. So initially he joined as a fresher in IT industry for a company called, let's say, Infosys. His email ID is ashok@infosys.com. So that is what his email ID. So again, after 3 years, he's going to change his company. What happens? This company name will change. So it will be changed to Wipro. And his email ID also will change to ashok@wipro.com. So this is OLTP. Whenever any changes comes, right, only recent record will be maintained. So only Wipro will be maintained, not his Infosys history. So that's why we go for OLAP. What OLAP does? It will maintain the history also. How many our companies Ashok is keep changing, right? It is going to be maintained in the OLAP system. So same I'm going to copy here. So same I'm going to copy here. So initially he was working in Infosys. Sorry, here I should not change. This is OLTP, right? Anyways, it is going to change. So this is Infosys. Initially, he worked in Infosys quite some time. So this is the first record in OLAP, right? So whenever you wanted to change Wipro record, just like you should not override this. So this is not going to be called as data warehouse. So for this purpose, these dimensions will not change. So these dimensions will not change. For this purpose, we should go for a concept called as slowly changing dimensions. So whenever you wanted to, dimensions are changed
So
very rarely.
pass it down.
Okay, these
I'm sorry.
dimensions,
I'm sorry.
no problem, no
Yeah.
problem. So these dimensions will not change so quickly. Over a period of time, these will get changed. So whenever any changes happen, see fact table anyways, you will get latest data will keep on changing. I do accept. But dimension tables will not change so easily. Whenever you wanted to track your dimension related changes, we go with the concept called as slowly changing dimensions. So these will be, I mean, very rarely change. So how you are going to track those changes in terms of history basis whenever you wanted to store. So for this, there are lot of types of SCDs are there. Short form they call it as SCD. Type 1, type 2, type 3. I think so till type 6 it is there in the market. Depends on you purely which type you are going to choose. I'm telling you at least 90 above 90 percentage of the projects are being used is type 2. Type 1, type 3 already present, but they are not going to be used so much quickly. Compared to type 1, at least type 3 is, I mean, utilized, but not type 4, type 5, type 6. So they are completely ignored actually. So what these are, as per this, SCDs, we talk about type 1 first. Type 1, how we are going to maintain the history. This is OLAP only we are talking about, okay? Forget about OLTP. OLTP, you are going to override the record. That's it. It is done. It is not useful for the data warehousing implementations. Now we are talking about in a data warehouse. We are doing through type 1. So what type 1 does is, initially Ashok is a part of Infosys, and type 1 is just like OLTP only. That's why it is not used. So whenever new record comes in, right, is going to change to ashok@wipro.com. So that's why people won't use type 1. Just it is going to replace the existing record. That's it. No history will be maintained. So people won't prefer it. Now move on to type 2. So this type 2, what we do is, initially he was part of Infosys, right? Let us take this record. We will keep it here. So now after 3 years, right? Maybe we will maintain another column also if required. If source is giving tenure column, how many years he has spent in the Infosys? 3 years. Let's say. So he is going to change to another company, right? So he will be getting. Actually, I supposed to take a different thing. It's my bad. I should not take Infosys and Wipro. I should have taken within a company. Um, Within a company, how you going to change your projects from SBI to HDFC, HDFC to Walmart. I should have chosen that way. It was my bad. I you know uh, I don't want to choose it because nobody will store your history, right? Maybe EPFO, PF portal will store all your service history, right? Let us talk. We are working for PF history, okay? So in that case, your employee ID will change for the new company. uh, Suppose, just imagine, company is maintaining your history, okay, data virus history. So they are having an internal one member ID, your unique ID, okay, your member ID, not employee ID. We can call it member ID, PF portal ID. I mean, if it is one company we would have chosen, projects we are keep changing means it will be very easy for us to track. So that's why I'm changing it to member ID. Member ID is nothing but PF ID. So this is also member ID. So here what happened is, after 3 years you have changed your company. So that's why your member ID will remain same, because in PF portal, how many other companies you change, right? It will remain same only. Now again, I'm going to have another row with Ashok. I'll mark it to Wipro and ashok@wipro.com. And here quite some time he is spending his time. So here what we do is, this tenure will be left, or still working, something, some message will be kept over here. And flag, it will be maintained like n, and for this y, which means you are currently working with Wipro only. So again, he has Ashok has changed to another company. His member ID, PF portal member ID will remain in UAN actually. Okay, UAN. So again, he's going to get Ashok. So he has changed it to TCS this time. So ashok@tcs.com you'll get. And this time what we do is, here he spent time. This will be updated actually. This record will be updated with his tenure, 4 years. This record has been updated now only it is updated. So now it will get like, this will be left blank, and this will be marked as y, and this will be updated as n. So every time whenever you see the history, right? So if you wanted to get current record, you always focus on the flag column. This is how data warehouse data will be maintained. So the same is the case with, so you don't want to store your data in terms of flags. Just imagine. So what we do is, we wanted to store the data in terms of timestamp. What we do is, I'll have the timestamp column. Maybe flag also you maintain, timestamp also you maintain, both together. It's up to you. How the data warehouse table will be decided by data architect is matter. So you wanted to have one flag column as well as this column timestamp. What do I mean by timestamp column? So this will remain same. I copy paste here. Type 2 only. I mean, I'm telling another format how we can build a data warehouse. So same way, like here, I'm going to add one more column here, just like this timestamp I'm going to keep next to flag, or mostly either flag or timestamp will be maintained actually. Mostly in my project, flag and timestamp both are being maintained. So what I do is, I'll make a record actually, timestamp. So 2021 January, till this time he has worked. Here 2024 January, something like this. So dates will be maintained, which is the latest record, right? So whatever the latest record inserted here, it will have the date here also, 2025 something. Okay. So whenever you wanted to see history, you can be able to track either to flag or timestamp. Not only this, there are other columns also will be maintained. I mean, these are called audit columns. This flag column, timestamp column, this is not actually representing your business data. Actually this is the business data, but this is additional data for maintaining the history. So we will have like process id, who has processed batch. Every day we will be having some batches, right? Maybe some Databricks and Data Factory. There are some activities. There are some transformations. With that, you can generate a unique process ID. That process ID will tells you uniqueness of this record. So just you wanted to identify when it has been processed. So not only one employee, right? EPFI will be having Ashok, Venkat, Yogesh, and Ayappa. Many, we are all many people, right? So for every person, let's say other person one or two, his name is Venkat. So if you are maintaining all this history, so for that particular day, who are all get injected here, who are all added into this table, right? They will get the same process ID. So for now, in 2025 February, February 10th, a process ID is something like this. This is a process ID. Just imagine unique ID. So the same ID will be added to other employee also who has been newly added. Venkat. Venkat is just joined in Wells Fargo. So now what I'm saying is, Hypa, hi Suraj.
Yeah, Venkat.
No, no. Just I thought you were talking to me. Suraj,
Okay.
hi. Um, Suraj, good morning. Good to see you. Um, you are unmuted, but we are not able to listen to you.
Yeah, Venkat, one doubt. When it comes to current timestamp, it will run the current timestamp or it will give the
The time it has been
uh,
loaded. Timestamp,
okay, every
run
minute it
time.
will be loaded, right?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe
Okay.
not only timestamp, you can make it like data load time. It depends. This naming and all, it's purely depends on the project, sir.
Okay. What
But yeah, yeah.
from our end I can see like they will I think we used to change the date in epoch converter like that.
EPUB?
Epoch converter. Like they mentioned some timestamp like a 171899 like that. We used to change that in epoch converter. It will show us some date like when the record has been processed or not. At what
Oh,
time it is getting processed like that.
okay.
Like
Not sure.
from current timestamp, I am asking like how it will be shown in the timestamp like that.
Timestamp, it depends on the suppose SQL Server, some basic format will be there. See in my application, right? 2024 11 and 31st, and then here hours, 2 o'clock, uh, and then 14 minutes and 12 seconds, like this. If nothing is data is coming like we don't want to maintain history in the minutes and hours basis, we mark all these things to 00. This is how that time looks like. It depends on the system to system. While building this this table, right, we need to suggest the table what type of data type we are going to choose. Whether timestamp gives you this format, year, month, date, and hours, like this. If they wanted to choose only date column, it's again it depends. But people won't choose for date alone. Till timestamp they wanted to see, because exactly when the record has been loaded, right? Because we are going to get historical data. So next record may come after half an hour also, who knows. So that's the reason with seconds, hours, it will be clearly shown actually. Okay.
Okay.
Process ID, what I told, right? There are other columns also, and frequency also we maintain actually. Frequency, when it is daily frequency or something. For every table, whenever we do transaction changes, right? We will make this audit columns. These are for our internal operations only, nothing else. This is not about business data. The process ID, frequency, data load time. So other columns also. These columns will be generated by the data bricks. So using some functions like a current date or current time, exact time. So get date if you use, right, you'll get the latest data. So based on those runtime, we call it as runtime, it will be maintained, process ID will be maintained. So for generating this process ID, we do have separate function actually. So random ASCII keys we are giving ASCII keys. So randomly we pick up the alphabets, we create the process ID, and frequency we maintain what this table is daily or monthly, weekly, something like this. Okay, so that's how will be maintained in real time. This is type 2. So coming on to type 3. Type 3 is very few companies are being used when your data is not that much huge and you will not expect much many changes. In that case, we go for type 3. When your data is not huge, that is one criteria. Second criteria is you will not see the changes so much easily. So very rarely we will get to see those changes. In that case, we go for type 3 actually. So till here it will remain same. So member ID Ashok, maybe I'll remove this record. So here what I do is previous company, previous email, and current company, email. So when it comes to this, right? So here you'll be having null, and the same will be maintained here. Is going to work with Wipro, and his email ID will be Wipro. So what happens is, for this Ashok itself, we are having another column. We are maintaining the history based on the columns, new columns we are going to add. So the problem with this type 3 is, if Ashok is keep on changing the companies, he will be adding more and more columns. We cannot maintain certain level, right? We cannot maintain your correctness of the record. It is very difficult for a database developer. That's why it is completely ruled out. But very few tables, some companies are using this practice. But widely used practice is this only. We maintain the history with the help of rows. The companies has been changed by Ashok. We will maintain a record in the type 2 table. So it will be very easier to maintain, and the huge data also you can be able to change it. So it will be through flag or timestamp. Based on that, if I wanted to pick up the current record of Ashok, where he is currently working from VPFO portal, I can be able to either I'll give a max column, max of date load time. So if I put that right in the filter, I will get the latest record, or else I will go with the flag column. So all the previous records will be having N, and only current record will be having Y. So the same has been explained here. You can just go through this. It is self-driven slides only. Initially, SCD type 1, Shane XYZ was there. It has been renamed to abc.com. So XYZ has been renamed with ABC. You got it right? Just overwriting. SCD type 2 is widely used. You can see these diagrams with similar kind of data only. You can just go through this. Okay.
Just a doubt, Venkat.
Yeah, please.
Vishal here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is like, first question is like, what DB we would be using mostly? Is it
For
SQL
what?
Server or like
For what?
for storing this data?
Sir, actually, people are no these for this data, right? For this data.
Yeah.
So this kind of data, it is always yes. You can use SQL Server. So why
Okay.
not Parquet files? Why not CSV files? Why not Excel file? Can be kept in Excel file also, CSV file also.
Mhm.
Right. So in my project, what is happening is we do have transactions and new locations, new customer. You'll go to multiple locations. As I told yesterday, I work for retail, client. So we get generated lot of data. My data warehouse, so every day I'll get 50 millions of data, 10 millions of data, something like this. Not like one or two records. So how we
Mhm.
maintain is, as I told, type 2 we use, Our table will remain same. Parquet file will be coming. And again, my target also a Parquet file only, but that is not Parquet file, that is Delta file. In Delta Lake, I'm going to store. Delta is a new format. Delta, it is there in Databricks. We are using Delta, which is available, that option is available in Databricks to maintain all our history. So as I told, like this, we are going to maintain all the audit columns, especially on top of the business data. So we are storing in Parquet itself. Parquet is nothing but
Okay.
delta only, but in the backend we store it like dot delta. So it resembles delta, but actually it stores in the format Parquet. So why we chosen this Parquet, right? Because of the 50 millions of data, 10 millions of data, who will store this much of data? Who will process very so easily, right? So it will
Right.
on top of Parquet file, compressing will happen. Size it occupies is very less compared to SQL Server and all. If you maintain this data, answer your
Mm-hmm.
question. If you maintain an
Mm-hmm.
SQL Server, so it will be
Mm-hmm.
very slower actually. You cannot perform all these operations on regular basis. So that too,
Right.
when a file is coming on regular basis and daily basis, it is not so easy. My retail company, it is spread across all over the world. So it will be generating millions of data, millions of transactions. So it is not possible for my client. We chosen
Okay.
Databricks and then Parquet file we are storing. But answer your question, down the line, some 10 years before, people were storing all this data in SQL Server only as a data
Okay.
warehouse. SQL Server, Oracle, Teradata, anything of their convenience and
Mm-hmm.
their budget.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And next question is like for type 3, right?
Okay,
Type 3 SEDs. Like like you said, like it will be like keep on adding the columns, right?
correct.
Like in a I mean, like would it be possible, like once we declare the table, once we define the table, like we'll be defining the columns and then we will be adding the data to it, like whatever I saw
No, no, the
so far.
structure we always change it actually. That's what.
Mm-hmm.
When suppose you have some 50,000 employees, data records
Mm-hmm.
are maintained. Again, you see, there is a restriction till 4 employees they are maintaining. Again, new five, I mean, one employee has jumped to fifth record, fifth company. Again, I need to maintain another column. So entire table structure is going to get disturbed. So every record has to be updated. So adding a new column will take a lot of effort for maintaining the history. That's why we are not choosing it.
Meaning every time when we add the data to it, like if we use it, I don't know, like whether it will be used in real time or not.
No, no, it is.
Like
It will
but
be
if
used. It will be used, but very one-time change. See, earlier there was a very rarely. Suppose some columns will be rarely used. Like capital will never change for a state. So capital. So if they wanted to store, they know after 10 years only maybe capital will change. So there is a column capital in a table. They wanted to maintain history. So then they go for new capital, old capital. It's possible, right?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
okay,
that kind of very, I mean, you cannot expect the data will get changed or not. Such kind of situations, very rarely they go for it.
okay,
So I mean,
got you.
in my project
Yeah.
also, type 2 only preferred. I mean, everybody, at least 99% what I have seen so far, only type 2 only being used. Okay?
Okay, Venkat. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And just another
Venkat,
question, maybe not related to this topic. The thing
yeah,
is like when we talk about the incoming data or source data, right? Like, do we get any like for any Azure project, like any Azure data engineering project? Like, do we have any upstream system or like is it directly through the client? Venkat?
upstream system are through the clients. See, in my
Yeah.
client, what's happening is directly from the stores. My company is running out of
Okay.
stores, retail
Mm-hmm.
stores, and they do have online business also. The data is
Okay.
being generated. Suppose transaction to be processed, right? Maybe first mainframes will pick up the data. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe some big data system will pick up the data. Maybe some ETL people will pick up the data. Some operational team, they themselves store the data in Excel. We cannot
Okay.
predict. The data will be
Mm-hmm.
generated from even from big data also. So
Okay.
the data I mean, big data in the sense Hadoop will be maintained there. The data once it is created, right? As a data engineer, they will tell what is the nature of data, what data you are picking, and then we are going to pick up the file, process it, keep it on top of our existing data warehouse. That's how it is.
Okay. Okay. So it could be directly from the client, or it could be directly in
Directly
from
from
the upstream.
some, yeah,
Any.
any actually.
Okay.
We are working with another client called Quantium. They are
Mm-hmm.
sending some feeds actually. That feeds why
Mm-hmm.
we are getting, the survey data. So every day a customer goes to one store, he will face lot of uh, experiences. He will come out of the store, and the end of the day, if you take some survey, the data will go to a third party vendor. The third party vendor
Okay.
will generate the all the feedback. They'll process it. The file they're
Mm-hmm.
sending us, that data we are storing on top of it. Why we are maintaining that survey? That is because that is maintained by my third party system for my client. They are not maintaining it because transparency will not be maintained by that case. So that too,
Yeah.
it's an additional burden. What my customer felt is like, okay, whoever has bad experiences, bitter experiences, they are posted in the survey, right? So those will be these third party vendor will go and approach them. Okay, what is your problem? But end of the day, the data will be maintained by them third party. They are giving us, we are storing in our system. So it depends actually. From third party
Okay.
side
Yeah.
also we'll get the data. We cannot predict
Yeah.
unless until you go and listen to your BDA. Here there is a
Mm-hmm.
concept called as business data analyst. So these people will
Okay.
closely working with the client, our data, our customers, whoever is giving requirements. They will understand first, or you can say business analyst. So normal business analyst or BDA, business data analyst. Mostly in Azure data engineering platforms, right? We call it as BDS, business data analyst. They going to understand the data, how the pattern and what type of data we are dealing with. He will be able to guide us. Okay, this is what the structure of the data. So these are the tables we need to bring up. So he is the first person. This will be discussed with the architects. Architect will come up with a design in technically how to put this data into tables, and that will be interpreted by, as a data engineer we will be creating some tables and loading the data so as expected actually. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah. Very clear. Thanks, Venkat.
No problem. So other person was asking a question.
Yeah, Venkat, is there any difference between SQL Server and Azure Cosmos DB?
Cosmos DB is no SQL. It is not going to be used there is no structure of it. It is widely used nowadays. Um, it's not SQL at all. It is like programming you can write. Um, People are using that actually. That's like a modern days database actually, not like a regular relational modeling type of tables we maintain there. There is a lot of difference. Okay. Um, I'll go to next slide. Confirm dimensions. See, as I told, we do have multiple towers. Almost 12 towers are there. 12 in my project itself. Altogether, we were working like 80 to 90 Azure data engineers itself. So what is happening is some of the dimension tables common across all the towers. When you say towers, one subject area you can call it as maybe debit card, one section, credit card, one section. So for this one section, we are having a tower. In that, some 5 to 7 data engineers are working. Maybe just imagine. Okay, so across these towers, one common dimension will be there. Some cases like location. Location will never change, sir, that much easily because the operations what are being performed for this my customer, right? It will remain same unless until they set up a new store. So that's why once this location is table is created, this data is being generated, all are not going to update it. One team will take care of the responsibility that will be set up. They will take care of it. So not all are going to add on their data on top of it. So you understand, right, what I'm saying? So some dimensions, they are common across the data warehouse. They are called as conform dimensions. Clear? Like a time dimension, location dimension, something like this. Just an example. Okay. So next is fact tables. Yesterday we have clearly seen what is a fact table, what is a dimension table. What is the dimension table? Dimension table will be combination of two columns, two types of columns, identifiers and attributes. No other columns. Maybe some audit columns will be there in dimension tables. Audit columns, just timestamp that and all. But a dimension table is equal to identifiers which are used for joining purpose or some unique columns, that's it, plus attributes, naming columns, text columns. In case of fact tables, what they meant for storing the identifiers plus fact data like decimals, floats, right? We know, right? Some kind of numerical data that will be maintained in fact table along with the joining columns. They are called as identifiers. So these fact table will be always designed with respect to joining the dimension tables. So factless fact table is nothing but it is not going to maintain the revenue or some kind of numerical data. We are not going to maintain numerical data in the sense currency, revenue, profit, that kind of columns. Some fact tables will be I will tell you my one example. There was one client, actually a short term project has reached out to me. Almost 2016 it has I worked on this data warehouse. I worked in MSBI. So the purpose is it is not going to be fact table and dimension tables. It is going to be factless fact table. Say I'm not taking multiple dimension tables. One dimension table I'll take. Here employee ID I'll be having employee ID, right, and then employee name, something like this, and I'll have one fact table. I'm not going in depth. So okay, so here I'll be having employee ID to join. So this is the primary key, this is the foreign key in fact table, this is the fact table, this is the dimension table. So not all the fact tables will maintain the fact columns. I mean to say here they are maintaining one data warehouse representing employee data. HR has approached to me, HR team, they need a data warehouse. They wanted to maintain employee information when the resource has joined, joining date, DOJ, date of joining, date of exit. If employee is still there, this employee date of exit will be left blank. Suppose Ashok is still working in the company, he will not have this record populated. Only DOJ will be populated. 2021 January is he has joined, and DOE it will be kept empty, and he'll be having Venkat. He is having DOJ and date of exit also populated because he already left the company. So the data which fact table is nothing but not only numerical data, sometimes very specific data what they're looking for, right? Where frequently actions are being changed. Actions are being changed. The data changes frequently is happening. If dimension tables we handle through SCDs and they are very rarely changed, but fact table will always keep changing. So here employee table is a mail ID, is project what is changed, keep on changing the projects, right? They wanted to maintain history. In that case, although it is not a fact table, we are maintaining some sort of factless facts. They are called as factless facts. It is not a fact, real fact. It's a factless fact. We call it this kind of tables. We call it as factless fact tables. I mean, just this is one of the example. It might people will ask you in real time. Actually, there is a chance for me, my retail company, lot of factless fact data being generated. You imagine, right? There are a lot of columns. They are actually my customer point of view. They are very important. They are frequently getting changed, but they are not numerical data, right? So in that case of situations, we go for factless fact tables. Okay. So they are like event whenever any event happened, they wanted to make the record to be tracked in fact table. So they are specially designed fact tables. And now surrogate keys. What do I mean by surrogate keys, right? As I told you, all the cases, all the business data, they are not going to maintain the keys. What do I mean by key, right? See, key is nothing but employee table, definitely employee will be there. That is that type of data we get it from business itself. Very sure. Employee is there means he will be having one ID to uniquely identify whether he is a employee or not. So employee ID will be there. But some cases you will not have IDs actually for some data. Let's take time dimension. Time dimension, you will be having year column, quarter column, month column, date column. Then where is the key column? How do you are going to join? You cannot join them, right? In such cases, just I'm telling an example. But for your information, most of the cases, how we develop data warehouses, right? We will be having on external column we are going to maintain in the time dimension tables. We call it like location key. Time key. Time key is nothing but how we maintain 2024 11/01. We maintain like this. So year, month, date, something like this we maintain. So this time key in the time dimension table, whatever it is there right here, it will be there in the fact table also, time key. So this kind of keys, right? So we create it. So in the data warehouse. But what are surrogate keys? Surrogate keys are nothing but any situation if it is encountered from the business data what we are getting as an input is not having any unique columns. In that case, by using some transformations or activities within the ETL tools, we populate our own column, we populate our own values for uniquely identifying the record. If you feel that this is a irrelevant column, it is not quite useful to you to make the join with fact table, it does not look much sense. In the time dimension table, I'm going to create one more key that is called as surrogate key. I will populate 1 2 3s like this. For every record I will maintain one unique record. Even for employee also, I don't feel, see, if you work for I'm telling one case, if any of you worked in Capgemini, how it looks like, employee ID like this, it looks like something like this. So underscore fs or in, what do you mean with this, right? So this is employee ID India. FS means Capgemini companies employees are segregated into FS, non-FS. FS, non-FS. All the banking FS, non-FS means, so employee ID you cannot rely on this column to make some joins with the fact table. When you have unique columns like integers, if joining is very easy, as you know, than text column. So ID is always unique to joining with one table to another table. In that cases, we go for surrogate keys. We populate employee IDs 1 2 3s. So it will be very easier, right? So for this employee, we maintain one record here is if it is not a fact table, it's a direct fact table. Means if it is fact table, here salary and all is there. Just imagine salary and this bonus, something we are maintaining. This is fact table, not factless fact table. So in that case, I'm going to maintain the surrogate key here itself. So that I'm going to call it as like a real employee ID naming, maybe like business employee ID, business EID, something like this. Better naming convention should be maintained. So I'm going to maintain this 1 2 3 here. So this key, surrogate key, will be joined with this surrogate key in the fact table. So surrogate key is nothing but it is not a business data, it is maintained by us for building the data warehouse. Whenever you wanted to join fact table with the dimension tables, we encountered such problems where unique columns are not found in the business data. We create our own columns in terms of ETL tools or data factory, data bricks. We create our own keys. We generate. Mostly these are like sequential keys, 1 2 3 4 5 6, something like this in order. So it will be populated. We will maintain our data warehouse. They are called as surrogate keys. Okay. So the last slide talks about ETL, extract, transform, loading. So already we discussed, just I wanted to tell in a small, simple diagram. You can self go through this. Operational systems are there. We filter the data. See, your business data will be huge. Not all the data. Maybe I'll tell one case. We are building one data warehouse within our system. The survey data, whenever you're a customer, you went to my ABC client store, you purchase some 10 products, a bill has been generated, you are not happy with the Ashok is not happy with the service that has been provided by store, and I'm Venkat, I'm happy. We both are maintaining we are both are filling the survey forms. My company, ABC company, from the third party survey company, I'm going to get only unsatisfied records only. That's what I'm saying, filter. So we filter the data, whatever is required, and load, I mean, we cleanse it, on junk data, something, columns are not clearly populated, all these things, we cleanse it, we integrate it, and we apply on transformations, and we load the data into data warehouse. That is what it ETL says. Okay. So not all the source data will be used for data warehouse, only required data. In my case, my customer is morely focused on unsatisfactory people, unsatisfied people. Clear, right? So just a diagram here, multiple sources are there. I'm going to get out of 80 tables, I'm getting only 30 tables. I have 3 sources to build my data warehouse. Just imagine. So with a diagrammatic representation, what is transformation? Just, simple transformation. What I did is I'm concatenating first name and last name. I'm going to build a new column in the data warehouse called as full name. Source side, I have only 2 columns, first name, last name. I'm concatenating it. So I'm going to put only, for full name column. So that is what, just go through these diagrams. I think we are done with this, data warehousing basics. So any